Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Louie's Garage. So today what we're doing is we're going to be working on my C200 wagon and we're going to be replacing the anti-roll bar drop links or the stabilizer links. And the reason behind this is I actually replaced these not so long ago, but for some reason on the left hand side it's actually starting to make some noise again. So I'm going to show you how to take off the old stabilizer link and then how to install the new one, and hopefully we'll try and figure out what actually went wrong with the one that I replaced. So let's get into it. Alright everyone, we're just getting ready to jack the car up, as you have to do every time you work on suspension. But before we do that, let's loosen the wheel nuts. One of my impact wrenches is not working anymore, so I just have to loosen it by hand at the moment. And then we'll be able to jack it up using this front jacking point. Luckily this car has a front jacking point, so it makes things a little bit easier. So we'll just go and loosen the wheel nuts and jack it up now. Alright, that's one. That's two. That's three. 4, 5. And do the other side. Alright, so you can see the jacking pad under the subframe. You just want to line up your jack with that jacking pad, and then you can start jacking up the car. Alright, let's get it jacked up, and then I'll put some jack stands on. Remember safety first, and we'll take the wheels off and we'll have a look. Alright, so you can see these notches here and here. That's where you're supposed to jack the car from, and also where you put the jack stands on the side. So we're just going to ease the jack stand into that little slot there. Make sure it's nice and aligned. And then we can drop the car once we do the other side as well. Alright, so now that I've taken the wheel off, you can see exactly what we are having to deal with. So we need to get this nut undone. And it's a little bit easier said than done because there's a ball joint here. So quite often you have to actually use a tool to hold the ball joint in place. Here we've got a 5mm Allen head. So we're going to have to use an Allen head and a spanner to hold this in place. But I can loosen it using the power bar first. Now I'm just going to show you what the problem is. So it looks pretty new, right, this drop link, which it is new. But if I twist it like this and put some pressure on, you can hear it. You hear that? Now it's not meant to do that at all. The other side doesn't do that. And I think what's happened is the ball joint down here has actually gone bad, because I've taken this off before just to check it, and unfortunately it's really, really tight. So I think something has broken or cracked or snapped in the ball joint there. So that's why we're replacing them. Alright, so I'll break it open with my 18mm socket and my power bar to start with. And then we're going to start using the 5mm Allen head and a spanner to do the rest. Alright, there we go. So that's broken the nut loose. But like I said, if you want to keep going, it's just going to go on the ball joint. So we're going to start using the other tools now. Alright everyone, so here's my setup. I've got my 5mm Allen or hex head in there, and then I've got my 18mm spanner. You have to put the spanner on first, and then you put the Allen key or the hex bit in. And all this does is it means that I can hold the ball joint in place. It doesn't rotate, it doesn't move around, and then I can undo the nut using the spanner. A little bit hard to show you because it requires two hands, but hopefully you get what I mean. And so we'll get this whipped off. It does take a lot of time. You have to have a bit of patience, and we'll have to do the same process down the bottom there. Now I can't use the same setup. It has to be an Allen key because there's not enough room down there. So that's a little bit more challenging, but you get the gist of it. And then I'll show you the drop link after I remove it. Alright, so I've gotten it pretty loose and the nut's just coming off freely now. And I just have to do the same for the bottom nut as well. So there you go, nut gone, and then there's your ball joint. And yeah, I mean, this ball joint, the design's not that great because it's kind of like a two-piece design. So this washer, or this spacer, goes into here to push up against the ball joint. So it's not brilliant, to be honest. And the new ball joints that I'll show you soon, it's all in one piece. So I think the new ball joints are going to be, the new drop links are going to be better. But yeah, as you can see, this is actually not smooth either. This is really hard to move. So there's definitely something going on in there. Like it's not very smooth, you know? And even just moving around like this makes a bit of noise. So don't know what's going on there. See, this ball joint, this one at the top here is okay. It's not too bad. But this one down the bottom, yeah, it's strange. Anyway, let's take it all off and I'll show you the new one that we're going to put in. Alright everyone, so I've got the old one out and you can see the difference here between this new Miele brand, sorry I'm pronouncing that wrong, Miele brand, and this Lemfreude one. So you can see here they've got a spacer to hold up the side of the drop link, whereas this one, it seems like it's all one piece of metal. There's also no hex or Torx in there to hold the inside of the ball joint, so I'm assuming that this is actually already captive, so you don't need to do that. So that's probably another good design decision. Or maybe you have to use a spanner and just hold the ball joint from inside here. It's another possibility. We'll see when we actually install it. This one does feel a lot more sturdy, a lot more solid. Like this is all metal, this is all, you know, solid metal, whereas this is actually just hollow on the inside. This is not fully metal. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. This is definitely a little bit heavier as well. And I've actually got these same drop links in my 147 GTA, the same brand. So I'm hoping that this brand is actually really, really good. The other thing I noticed as well, there's nylock nut there, there's no flange, so I don't think we need to put a washer in there, but it's possible that we could potentially put a washer in there to emulate sort of the flanged bolt from before. But yeah, it should be okay. I don't think we need a washer. It's a pretty sort of low movement application because the ball joint moves, nothing else will move, so that should be fine. Anyway, we'll chuck this in and then hopefully that solves the problem. Oh, and I wanted to show you, like I mentioned before, this ball joint is incredibly difficult to move. So all the other ones I can move by hand, whereas this one, it's just, there we go. So you really have to lean on it. And it's not smooth, it's very, very clicky. You know, it's not meant to be like that. Like when you move a ball joint, it's meant to be really smooth. So there's definitely something wrong there. So anyway, let's get this on and hopefully that solves our problem. Alright everyone, so let's get these installed. It's pretty simple. You just put the thread through the hole there at the top and then same at the bottom. You may have to bend the thread just a little bit, just to line up onto the anti-roll bar or onto the suspension strut. But yeah, there you have it. It's pretty simple. And then literally the next step is just to put the nut back on. Sweet. So we're going to do that one up, and then we'll do up the bottom one, and we'll see where we're at. Alright, so interestingly, the new nut is actually slightly bigger than the old one. So this is a 19mm, whereas the old one is 18mm. But yeah, same story. Just do it up with your wrench, spanner, ratchet, whatever it is you want to use. And I don't think we need to hold this one captive. Maybe not, I don't know. Give it a go. Let's have a look. Yeah, maybe we do. Yeah, okay. Let me keep going, and then I'll show you what I do. Alright, so I've set my torque wrench up at about 105 Newton meters, and so we just have to now torque it up. Yep, there you go. And it should be all ready to go. Now, what you want to do is, just like what I did before, just want to test it. Yep, there's definitely no more movement there, no noise. So I think we're good. Obviously tighten up the bottom nut as well. Now I can't get my torque wrench onto that one, so I'll just do it up as tight as I can using my spanner, but that should be enough to hold it in place. Alright, and then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do the other side as well. Even though the other side's fine, I've got the drop link for the other side as well, so might as well make them the same, and then the job is a good one. Alright everyone, check it out, both drop links are installed, nice and shiny and new. I've put both wheels back on, and I'm going to take the jack stands out. There we go. And we'll be ready to lower the car and take it for a test drive. Alright everyone, hopefully that was helpful for you. That was how to change the drop links on a W204 C200 Kompressor wagon. But applies for, you know, most of the Mercedes in this era. So, alright, get amongst it. You can do it yourself, definitely. Give it a go. All the best. And see you in the next episode. See ya.